aircraft wise. It's yeah, it's a mess as well. It really is. I'm not going to go into the aircraft and how badly this is messed up at the moment because I've not test flown all of the aircraft in question. There'd be Russian MiG-15 BIS, for example. I've not flown that. I've not flown the LA-15, and I don't think I've flown the Yak-17 either. But I'm not bothered about the Yaks. That LA-15 I'm interested slightly in, and the MiG-15 BIS I'm kind of interested in a little bit. But it's more for comparison with other aircraft. It's not from a fanboy kind of perspective, that's for sure. I mean, as far as the British go, we've got it's still a complete mess really. They down-tiered this with the new battle rating changes, which is really silly. That's now only got a battle rating of 7.3 and it can do 575 miles an hour. So it can pretty much catch most of the stuff it will fight against, and it'll outturn it as well. Not that the other ones won't either, but that one's a slightly more advanced version. I think it's got more powerful engines as far as possibly, yeah. The Attacker is terrible. The Vampire is still terrible. Canberra, the first one, still doesn't have any guns. The second one does, obviously, but the first one now has a cockpit. Yeah. I'm supposed to be happy about that one. Venom still has a broken flight model as far as I can tell. Well, with regards to keyboard and mouse control, at least, anyway. I did take it out for a few test flights last week, and well, I've got one video to release on that in particular. But its problem is to do with the way that the game interprets your controls with the twin boom tail. That's something that Gaijin need to look at and kind of refine. But at the moment, you're kind of stuck with it. Yeah, as far as the Japanese go, they all got up-tiered. They're now all battle rating 7. That got up-tiered to 7.7. That stayed where it is, I think. And, yeah, I think that stayed where it is as well. So, no real change there for the Japanese. I think that battle rating change for the R2Y2 actually happened a while ago. It wasn't in this latest patch. Or at least changed, but the KI-200 change was. And that has kind of... that will upset a lot of people. I mean, that to me is just a joke. Putting an aircraft that has 4 minutes of fuel at battle range 7.7 to fight against MiG-15s is just stupid. That's literally the Japanese were working on that in 1945, and it will fight against aircraft from 1952. So yeah, go figure. You know, the matchmaker in this game is just a hideous joke. But yeah, other than that, I don't think they've actually changed anything else. That's still going to get up against jets all the time because I'm level 100. That will as well. J2M3, that's still surprisingly low for about for how effective it is. The the Shiden, both variants of that are still at 6.3, which basically means that's in jet games every single game. That is 6.0, so for me that's in jet games every single game as well. That's still surprisingly low. And they've dropped the battle rate for that down by 0.3 as well, by those things. But either way, you know, let's just say, up the high tier stuff, basically, for the way to kind of play this game, I think, to get the most enjoyment out of it, is to not play it past tier 3. Literally, that should be your cut-off point there. Everything above tier 3 for the Japanese is fine. I don't really see that much problem with as far as the matchmaker goes for all of that stuff. When it comes down to here, it's a complete mess and it's not worth playing. It's just a massive grind for very little reward. You get punished in several ways, one of which being high repair costs, which is no joke. That is a constant throughout all of the Japanese aircraft. Look at that one, for example. Explain that to me. Why does the J2M3 have a 45,000 Silver Lions repair cost? I think the reason is because it's overperforming. So rather than fix the issue, which is the flight model, they increase the repair cost. So you're just paying through the nose every time you take this aircraft out and get a shot down. It used to be the same for both of these. These both used to have ridiculous repair costs, but they have lessened them slightly. The J70B1, that had an insane repair cost when that came into game. When I first flew that, it had a repair cost of over 40,000. I'm pretty sure of that. 34,000 there, 28,000 there, 22,000 there. Now you might think, oh, that's tier 4 vehicles, so that explains why they're expensive to repair. That's no reason at all, because if you look at the tier 5 vehicles, for example, this one, that's the best jet the Japanese can actually take out in combat. That has a lower repair cost by less than a third of that. Well, it's about a third. It's even more ridiculous compared to that, to be honest. It's just a joke. It's a really bad joke, and it's not. Look at that, 59,000 lines to repair. 59,675,000. Yeah, it's just a hideous joke, and it's all done to put you off from playing these particular aircraft. Because if you do and you balls it up, that's 59,000 lines straight down the pan. I mean, yeah, the mind boggles. It really does. How Gaijin really calculate these values, because then, I go down here, look at me 15 BIS, 10,880. It's a joke. It's a fucking joke, and it's at your expense. 9,360. 11,000. 11,000. 12,000. 12,000. 8,000. And 12,000. None of those are anywhere near. Well, they're all a fraction of the cost of the repairs for the R2Y2s, and that isn't even fully upgraded either. I'm pretty sure of that. Yep. If I fully upgraded it, it would just be insane. That one it almost is, but that isn't the best one. The best one is that one, and that is already more expensive to repair than that with less modules installed. I mean, I'll do the same for the Germans now, I mean, 163, 9,000. That's actually come down in price quite a bit. That's quite cheap now. But it'll fight against MiG-15s anyway, so, you're still boned either way if you take that out. This is another joke by Gaijin. ME262, this is the first variant. That's got a barrel range of 7 now. That's actually been dropped down quite a bit, and the repair cost has actually dropped down quite a bit as well. When that was first introduced, when this new battle range system was in, this was at around about battle range 8.3, and had a repair cost of about 34,000, I think, from what I recall. But yeah, I mean, you can see that none of these repair costs are anywhere near as high as the Japanese. None of them. That used to be insane as well. When I had that and fully upgraded it, I had a repair cost of around about 44,000. Now look at it. Apparently, this is good development. So yeah, I mean, it's the way that the Gaijin do it. Rather than nerf the aircraft, they just put massive repair costs onto something that is a forming ore that breaks people's brains, I suppose. Yeah, I mean, all of these low repair costs. I don't see anything there that's exceptionally expensive. In fact, that's actually the only one that is. And it's the last jet for the Americans, and I know that they've nerfed that as well. And I'll show you how they have done. It's with the belts. Because your default belt has practice rounds in it. So, what's that? 1/4 of your ammunition is basically useless. And therefore, wasted. So, even though it's got that, they still feel the need to punish the player by giving it a higher repair cost. It just makes no sense. Because, the players will see that and then they just won't fly it. I won't fly that. Well, why would I want to fly that when I'm going to get punished for every single game that I get shot down at? I mean, I've got 3 repairs on it, but top tier jet combat in this game, as I said before, is broken. It's quite badly broken. You can see that from what I've just been on about with the repair costs. I mean, it's not just the repair costs either. It's the fact that you've got things like this, which is, ME163 getting thrown up against MiG-15s. You've got the HE-162 there. That will fight against Banshees and stuff like that. The Banshee, I think, is Grim Warrior jet. Forget about that. But these ones here, all of these 262s here, these will fight up against MiG-15s. They're not that much of a problem, I suppose. They won't fight against anything that drastic, I suppose. Same thing for that. The Horton won't either, but the Horton has its own problems. It's personal. Leave it best left unsaid, I suppose. I'm not even going to go on about the Russian stuff. It's just pointless. I find it both amusing and quite horrifying the way that this game has gone, as far as the development went, or has gone. It's quite sad, I suppose. If it continues this way, I don't see the player base growing at all. In fact, I'm expecting it to shrink even further.